Welcome to Lawyer in the Kitchen. Today we're going to make one of my favorite recipes, orange beef. First question to Seth and Felicity. Is this an ancient Chinese dish from the Ming Dynasty?
No.
No, it's not. All right. No. This dish was created in New York City in 1971 by a gentleman by the name of T.T. Wang at Hunan Restaurant on 2nd Avenue in New York. We're not going to do it the most traditional way, which would be to use dried skin off the orange, which is called chin pea. We're not doing that. You can find that in supermarkets and stores and things, but we're going to do it out of fresh skin. And these are right off, as you know, you've already seen, these are absolutely off our tree. So this is fresh. So the orange juice is fresh, and we're going to do this peel 3 different ways. So when I zest an orange and I just want this coating here without getting any of that pith or any of that white, I do it like this, because this way, if you look at this, you don't get any of that. You don't get any of the white. You just get the very skin with all the oil on it, and that's what we want. A lot of people do it like this. You don't see what's going on that way, so you really want to go ahead and do it this way. All right, so next we're going to cut the skin. We're going to try to avoid the white and just get some small pieces that we're going to use when we actually start making the sauce. So now we just want to take a nice thin slice and avoid as much of the white as possible. And finally, we're going to go ahead and cut a good size strip of skin and not worry about getting the white on there. And then we're going to cut these into strips. So now we're going to get some fresh juice. And listen, if you're going to go to all the steps that this is, because there are a lot of steps to this, it's easy to make. It's an absolutely easy dish. But if you're going to go all these steps, use fresh oranges, okay? So we need about 3/4 of a cup of fresh orange juice. So now we're going to mix all of the ingredients to make the marinade and what will be the sauce. Now when we make the sauce, we're going to add a few things like thickener and the red chili peppers, but that's pretty much it, and some baking soda. 3/4 of a cup of very fresh orange juice, 3/4 of a cup of dark brown sugar, 3/4 of a cup of beef stock, our zest, 4 tablespoons of rice vinegar. You can use regular white vinegar if you don't have rice vinegar, that's no problem. This is a 1/2 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, which is actually going to be the heat, but we're only going to use about 1/2 of that because we're going to add the other 1/2 when we make the actual sauce. 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the ginger. I'm going to get that skin off of there. Now here's where we'll do it like it's usually done. And then check your other side, because that's where a lot of it is. So do this for a minute or so the sugar has dissolved. People make this beef out of all kinds of beef. Flank steak, sirloin, hanger steak. I have chosen ribeye because it's a nice tender meat. It's got a little fat in it. We want to take all the excess fat off though. You want about 1.5 pounds. This is a little less than that. You do want to trim off all this extra fat. And if there's any gristle or sinew, you want to get that off of there too. We want this to be just fantastic. Some people slice these on an angle or the diagonal. I don't think you need to do that. Not with this kind of meat. If you got something tough, yeah, you got to do that. There we have it. One thing I forgot to put in there is the sesame seed oil. And I'm going to put in about that much, which is about about 1/4 of a teaspoon. And we're going to mix that up. And now we have everything. We want to save about 1.5 cups for the sauce. So we put our meat in here, marinade. I'm going to get all the air out and then mix it all around. So tell me when you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm always ready. Can't you tell? Dance in the kitchen.
It's time to get the egg whites that are going to go on the beef. See, I can't do this. I can never do this. Nice job.
Thank you.
So we're going to drain the marinade off. Each piece is work, but it's worth it. We're closing in now, all right? So we're going to put the egg whites in here, and before I start mixing that up, I'm going to put 1 cup of cornstarch and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So the teaspoon of baking powder, mix that well with the cornstarch, and we're going to put this in a pan. All right, now we're going to make a mess. Make sure that each individual piece has egg white on it. All right, so we're going to start dredging this while we're waiting for our oil to get hot. And I've only got about probably 1/4 cup of oil, very hot. We're ready to make the sauce. This is going to go pretty quickly. We want the sauce to thicken up a little bit. 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and that will thicken the sauce. Last 1/4 teaspoon of the cayenne in there. Stripped oranges, red chili peppers in there. Not a lot this time. About 1 tablespoon, a little less than a tablespoon. We've cleaned out our wok. Get this warm. Ah, there we go. Now we're going to have some intense flavor. I'm going to turn this down. Put a little bit of a boil to it. There it is. Oh, I can smell the orange. Man, it smells good. Make sure it's nice and mixed. Everything's coated. And we are ready to plate. We're going to put some rice right here in the middle. Flavored beef. This is orange beef. Yep. The beef is tender. It's got a nice coating. It tastes orangey. It's great. This is fantastic. I'm really happy with this.
That is incredibly tender. Not too orangey, but orangey enough. Just the right amount of heat. That is perfect.
Let's see, which one do I have?
Oh, there we go. Look at me. Look at me using. Oh, look at me using chopsticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how much. There we go. Do it. All right. Just stab it.
Oh, that's really good.
You're right about the spice. It's like delightful, not like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die.
Full spice. We want some muscles from
Come on.
That moment when you grab the same chicken.
And it's not even chicken. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe and come back and see us again on Lawyer in the Kitchen. By the way, it's got some heat too. The heat's perfect. I love that heat. That's great. That cayenne works nicely. Thank you all.